So let's be honest, making jellies are a lot of hard work. There's cooking down the fruit, there's straining the fruit, and if you're entering into an award competition, sometimes you're straining the fruit 3 or 4 times, which takes a lot of patience and a lot of time. So there's nothing more disappointing than checking in on your jelly a couple of days later and finding out that it hasn't set. Now, if this is for an award competition, I wouldn't recommend this, but if this is just for everyday eating, all is not lost. You can reprocess jams or jellies or soft spreads, and I'm going to talk today about how. Reprocessing jams and jellies is super easy. You want to use the exact same size pot that you used when you made your original batch. You're going to pour all of the contents of the jar into your pot, and you're going to give that a nice little stir. We're going to bring this up to warm, and then for every 250 ml jar that you've got in your pot, you're going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar. Let me repeat that. For every 250 ml jar, you're going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar and 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice. So my jelly is now warm to the touch. So I'm going to add my 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice per 250 ml jar into the pot and give that a stir. I've warmed my sugar in the oven. Now this is a step you don't have to do, but it's one I like to do. It warms up the sugar and it allows your sugar to dissolve much more fluidly and quickly into your jelly and reduces the chance of any kind of sugar crystals forming as you reheat your jelly. So we're going to give this a nice stir, and then this is the step that's the same as when you made your first batch. You're going to stir this until the sugar completely dissolves. Once the sugar's dissolved, I've got it on a medium to low heat right now. Once the sugar has completely dissolved, I'm going to turn that up to medium high. Stirring constantly, I'm going to bring this to a rolling boil. Once it's achieved a rolling boil, again, I'm going to add more pectin. And the amount of pectin I add is 1.5 teaspoons of pectin per 250 ml jar that you've got in here. At this point in time, we've turned the heat up to medium-high, we've added our sugar and our lemon juice, and we're just giving our jelly a constant stir. And the reason you want to stir it constantly is stirring it is introducing cooler temperatures back into your jelly and ensuring that it's not coming to a boil too rapidly. So you've been stirring patiently for a while, and the goal is to get it to a rolling boil, which you can see we're getting close to. A rolling boil is a boil that you cannot stir away. So I would say that we're there. So now we add in our pectin, and that was 1.5 teaspoons of pectin per 250 ml jar. We're going to add this in, stir it around. You'll see that your boil will disappear for a little while. You're going to keep stirring it slowly until you return to that full rolling boil. You're going to time it for 1 minute, and then you're going to turn it off and skim. Now what you want to skim is you'll see that there's a little bit of kind of clouding happening on the surface of our jelly. That is what we're going to skim off. So I'm going to keep stirring it so that you can see what a full rolling boil looks like once you've added in the pectin. It's going to come up rather quickly. So you see, I can't really stir these bubbles away. They're coming faster and faster. We're closer to where we want to be now. So now I'm going to time it for 1 minute. I'm going to let this boil away for 1 minute, and then I'm going to shut it off. Don't be surprised if you get about a half a jar to a full jar less than your original yield, even though you've added additional sugar and lemon juice and pectin, because you have to cook it down. Sometimes it does evaporate and you will end up with a little bit less than your original yield. That's nothing to be alarmed about. So that's it. You've reprocessed your jelly, and now all that's left to do is to fill your jars and process in your water bath for the same amount of time that you did the original time. In my case, it'll be 10 minutes. Now, I don't typically reprocess jams, I just repurpose them. Instead of it being a jam, it'll be a spread, and I'll use it in yogurt instead of on toast. But with jellies, you sometimes don't have a choice. Like I said, I wouldn't necessarily use this if I was going to enter it in a competition. Your jelly can get a little bit cloudy, and sometimes the consistency might be a little firmer than you had originally anticipated, but it'll still be lovely and wonderful, and in this way you don't have to let all that beautiful hard work that you did up front go to waste.